who is the Permanent Secretary of LASEMA. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
We hosted the Commissioner for the Environment last week, and he was pretty much pleading with negotiations to align with some of the initiatives that the government is coming up with. But perhaps one of the issues is to, first of all, take you up on would be to ask, what's been the response of negotiations to some of those difficult decisions that the state government has had to take?
Well, the most important thing is that we put the safety of life and property on the hands of the good people of Lagos State. And you can see them with what Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu has put in place. You can see them warming into it. We are bridging the lacuna between what the government is putting in the place and what the people are doing. And we move straight to the grassroots, because you will discover that the impact of all this is to the grassroots. So we make sure that our early warning does not stay on the state level, it moves straight to the grassroots. And with that, we have what we call the local emergency management agency being put in the place. We have the local emergency committee being put in place. So with that, we are working together.
But what's the response of the people? Because there will be losses, there will be displeasure. I mean, difficult decisions are difficult for a reason, and it's not something that people will just say, okay.
But with the enlightenment going on, with the enlightenment and sensitization going on, with us going to the grassroots, the people are coming up with us. The people are warming up with us because they know that their safety is paramount to this administration.
What kind of feedback have you gotten personally from going to the field? Because I know that sometimes you have to go with the commissioner when you make these runs. What are some of the pushbacks you get?
The feedback is that the people are comfortable and they are doing their best.
How about
and you can see the indicators. You can see, despite the fact that there are a lot of heavy rains in Lagos being experienced in the past weeks, the flooding area is not as what it used to be before. So you can see that the indicators that we are getting, the feedback that we are getting is positive.
What are the challenges you are having getting people to align?
It's not that easy. Changing orientation of people, moving people from their ancestral place, ensuring that they put things in place, ensuring that they do not build in complying with the building code. It's not that easy. But the most important thing is that we are working in partners.
But that thing that is not easy is what would like, because it will probably be easier for people to empathize and cooperate with government when they recognize that indeed government has its own challenges. Yeah. So what are some of these challenges and how do you manage them?
Well, the challenges is going to the grassroots. We have to put a lot of machinery to go to the grassroots. We have to do a lot of machinery to carry out advocacy. You can see the Honorable Commissioner of the Environment going everywhere instead of him to stay in the office, ensuring that he put people on the board to ensure their safety.
Now, generally, all of these challenges we're having is essentially about disasters and natural disasters that we really don't have any power over. But then there is the issue of the environment itself. And so largely, when we talk about your role, primarily will probably be how you deal with emergencies. But how about preventing them? What are the measures to ensure that not only does government put in place emergency prevention, if I can use that term, but to also get people to understand the need for those prevention mechanisms so that there are no losses?
Yeah, you see that under the watch of Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, we put a lot of machinery in place. We look at the disaster management holistically. We look at the preventive aspect of it. We look at the preparedness aspect of it. We look at the response aspect of it, and we look at the reconstruction aspect of it. When you look at this disaster management circle holistically, you will discover that our government has put a lot of things in place, and our government have met the yearning of the people in terms of rebuilding, building the capacity of all the first responders, building the capacity of all the key stakeholders that are important in planning, in preventive, in responding to emergency, in ensuring that they perform their mandate adequately. And the goal is to ensure safety of life and properties. And you can see that we are doing our bit holistically. And you can see the indicators. The indicators is clear when you look at what we have put in place. And we can beat our chest that we are doing very well.
Okay. So when the federal government put out that notice and mentioned Lagos, I'm sure that it puts the Lagos state government on alert. So what are the specific areas in the city of Lagos, in the state, in Lagos state, that are most vulnerable to these alerts?
Well, when you look at it, you will be looking at Ikorodu area, the Shomolu area, the Lekki area, the coastal area of the state are most vulnerable to it. And we've carried out what we call the risk analysis and vulnerability analysis in the state, and we've come up with a lot of things to be put in place. And you will discover that in 2007 we experienced a sort of flood disaster. In 2012 too, we experienced a lot of flood disaster. And the state today, we have what we call a relief camp in all the 3 senatorial districts, so that if anything happens, we can't put these people in there to ensure that we have a complete holistic rehabilitations of the victims. And in Lagos State, we are coming in collaboration with the UNDP, we are coming with what we call the insurance scheme for those people that are vulnerable to flood.
Okay, so you mentioned Ikorodu.
Yeah.
It'll be good to know what are the specific...
Etiosa.
Yeah, okay, there is Etiosa, okay.
There is Shomolu, part of Shomolu too.
Okay. What are the specific challenges around Ikorodu?
It's because of the topography.
Okay.
Because of the topography. And if you look at the Ikorodu, especially the Ajegule area, you can see the passage of water. Some of them are in a flood-prone areas. So these are the issues.
That probably gives the government the responsibility of ensuring that particularly the markets align somewhat. Is there any... What are the conversations?
Well, the conversation is that we had a stakeholders meeting and we are able to inform them what they are vulnerable to and how they need to do the needful.
Well, many Lagosians will be wondering, where in Shomolu is that vulnerable? Because it looks, I mean, everyone would assume that, well, most Lagosians would assume that Shomolu is a high ground.
Yeah, because of another multifactorial factors. Okay. You see some people constructing their houses to prevent drainage of water. That's more of man-made. So these are compliance issues, and we tried to work on that. And you can see that the Commissioner of the Environment moving out, bulldozing some houses that are obstructing major canals.
You know, this one that you just mentioned, for instance, always raises an issue on the hearts and minds of many people, particularly Lagosians. Because when we hear illegal, that people are building, putting up infrastructure illegally, one wonders, and to a good number of places you go to, you see, okay, you know, this is the notice and all of those things. One would assume that at the end of the day, or at least before they started, because nobody wants to waste millions of naira building an infrastructure that is going to be pulled down by government. Yes. So, and sometimes some of them will come up and say, okay, these are the papers, we got these papers legitimately. In fact, after some people have started building, they'll go back and say, look, this is the document that we got from the Lagos state government. So how do these things happen? Is there an internal kind of derailment at the state that makes people disobey government orders? Some people who give these permissions to people to collect money?
No. There's no any form of derailment in terms of the government. We have put a lot of machinery in place in terms of building code. We have ensured that we have empowered an agency that is handling all these issues. We've carried out a lot of advocacy on how planning permits should be obtained. But you see, the lacuna is the attitude of some elements in the society, on this terrible element. You will discover that some of them at night, they will be building houses. You will discover that some of them, they will be cutting corners. Did you understand? But one way or the other, we've carried out a lot of advocacy on this. We've carried out a lot of sensitization on this. We've carried out a lot of stakeholders meeting on it, that people should abide with the building code. People should ensure that their safety is paramount to them.
But when you mention elements, I wonder, some of these elements, are they also working with government in a way, mannership or form?
No, I don't believe.
It is possible.
It's possible. But
yeah.
You see, it's possible. But the machinery being put in place by our government is different. You can see that all the top echelon, all the key stakeholders that are involved in this, they have their phone number outside. So if there's any, if there's anything, if there's any information, you can easily test us. So with that, we try as much as possible to check that menace. We try as much as possible to work with the people. If the phone number of the Director of Fire Services is outside there. My own phone number is outside there. The phone number of the General Manager of LAPCA is outside there. So you can easily test us and tell us that, oh, at this area, there's what is going on there. Then we move in to check it. So, and not only that, you will give it to this administration that in terms of information gathering, data gathering, we've improved on it. We've made our command control now to be a full-fledged agency. So when you are looking at effective and efficient communication in disaster or emergency management, the Lagos State is on top of it. So if you call us on 112 or you call us on 767, you will get straight to our command control center and we will do the needful.
Are those numbers always working?
It's always working. It's always working. And apart from that, we have our numbers, all the top echelons, all the stakeholders that are important in safety in Lagos State. They have their numbers outside. If you go to if you go to Google now, you press my name, you see my number out.
Okay. How about talk to us about the plan to recover, to protect and recover the green belts in Lagos. We understand that some of them have been built up, even in parts of Isheri.
Yeah, you see, the most important thing, you will discover that the Ministry of Environment is on top of it. They are doing their best and they are doing wonderful on it. And I'm sure the good people of Lagos State are enjoying the benefits of this from Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu.
Well, no, what's the plan to recover?
Well, I think the Ministry of Environment are in better positions to do that.
Okay. Now, because Nigerians generally, particularly Lagosians, have doubts about this, the functionality of these numbers. Do you think it's something we can try?
You can try. You can even call my number.
No, I'm talking about the emergency number.
Yes, the emergency number. Is something you can try.
Okay.
We will be there.
Okay. Well, I'm calling the number now, 112, just while we continue the conversation. But, okay, the number is, well, no one is saying anything. I can't really hear anything. The phone is on speaker. It's on the loudest.
You can listen. There's somebody talking.
Well, I can't really hear anything. Maybe we'll try it later.
Try it again.
Yeah, because the reason I just did that is just to prove to Lagosians whether or not these things work.
It's working.
It's
working.
Okay.
And we have really improved on it in terms of making sure that the call center now is under a reputable, efficient agency, command control agency.
Okay. Now you've spoken about these Etiosa, Shomolu, Ikorodu as areas that are vulnerable. How about Isheri? In a few months, the Oyo Dam will be released.
Isheri too is part of it. Okay. I just mentioned few.
Okay.
Isheri, there's some local government that they're still there. Okay. I just mentioned few. Okay. Isheri too is vulnerable.
So what many of the people in these communities work. Many of them go to work and come back and their homes are flooded by rain. When the Oyon Dam is released later on in this year, some of them are going to be affected. What's the plan? Well, to ensure that, at least to protect them, or do they have to move out of their homes? What exactly is the plan?
Okay, there are 3 plans. Number 1 plan is that we are carrying out sensitization. We've done what we call risk analysis. We try to inform the good people of Lagos State that you are vulnerable to flood. So what that means is that you must make sure you clear your canals. We've done what we call desiltings of the both tertiary and the primary channelization. Now, the second phase is that we've done some dredging in some of the rivers to be able to curtail some waters. Now, if need be, you can move to your relatives, and if need be, if it is really, really bad, we have a relief camp in all the 3 senatorial districts. We have in the Lagos East, we have one at Agbowa that the governor can order that these people should be until everything is subsided.
Well, the least we can do is to wish you well. And as we always say, put the feet of government to fire so that we ensure that no lives and property are lost unnecessarily in the city. Mr. Okeosanyintolu, the Permanent Secretary of LASEMA in Lagos, thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure.
I would really appreciate it.
Well, to say bye-bye, I would say the good people of Lagos State should remain cool, calm, and collected. Under the watch of Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, we are on top of all our challenges, and we will do everything that is humanly possible to ensure safety of life and properties in Lagos.
And we will also ensure that you do what you are supposed to do.
Definitely.
That is what we pay you for.
Thank
you so much for your time this morning.
We enjoy the taxpayers, and that's why we are outside too.
Absolutely.